Hey there, I had a fantastic time doing middle grade March and I'm excited to share my middle grade March wrap up with you. Tell me in the comments below what was a favorite middle grade book that you've read, and let's just get right into it. So the first prompt was a one-word title. I read Echo, recommended by the Bandana Book Mom, and oh my gosh, I loved it. I've been hearing about this for a while and I cannot believe I took so long to read it because oh, I loved it. It broke my heart. It was filled with hope. It was just wonderful. I listened to the audiobook and I'll tell you that my cats hate the sound of a harmonica playing, but it's about World War II time period, and it follows the story of these three different kids who have this harmonica that is like magical to them. It brings them hope. It brings them encouragement. When they play it, they feel like they can hear different sounds coming through it. And so it is just amazing and wonderful. And it's so sad because one of the characters is he has a birthmark, and so in Nazi Germany that is looked down upon, and so he's trying to get away from what might happen to him there. And then also there's another family who they're not the ones being sent to the Japanese internment camps, but they are seeing it happen. And so you have all of these sad things, but then it's also so filled with hope and things that inspire them, like music. And I just loved it. It warmed my heart. I'm not even a musical person, and it's definitely my favorite book I've read this year, and I think it'll be a favorite for a very long time. All right, so the second prompt was a debut novel. And so I read The Very Nearly Honorable League of Pirates, Magic Marks the Spot. It was everything I did not expect in the book, and it was so fun. This girl who's supposed to go to finishing school, she wants to become a pirate, and her governess goes with her, and this freelance pirate, and these two boys, one of them that does not get along with the girl, and it's just full of ridiculous fun and whimsy, and this gargoyle. So much fun. The second one was From the Desk of Zoe Washington. I listened to this. Actually, I listened to all these so far on audiobook. Wonderfully done. So Zoe Washington, on her birthday, she is getting back from this party at this bakery because she wants to become a baker and enter this contest on this kids baking show, and she sees this letter addressed to her, and so she goes and reads it, and it is from her biological father, who she has never heard from. And so as she starts correspondence with him, she starts to wonder, is he really guilty? And so it's so heartwarming, brings up some pretty heavy issues, but in an appropriate way, you know, middle grade kind of way, but it's emotional and lovely, and it was great. And so then the final one I did for a debut novel was Book Scavenger. I mean, this is just such a fun idea. This company has this website where where you can go on. It's like a social media website, and you hide a book somewhere, and then you have clues. You often use like kind of puzzle clues to describe where it is. And so it just sounds so much fun to do these book scavenger activities, and then you go and find it or claim it that you're looking for it. But this girl, she moves to San Francisco, and she's so excited to live in the same city where the man who created Book Scavenger lives, but then this accident happens to him. And so he is in a coma, and so she wants to figure out his next big game because he was about to announce that. And so she's trying to figure it out before the guys who got him get her too. And she has a new friend, and it's just exciting and fun. All right, so for the prompt, a book with an animal on the cover, I read 3 there. And so the first was The Underdogs of Ups and Downs. And it was just this heartwarming, encouraging story. I loved it, about this girl in Australia, and she is a little bit quirky and doesn't really have any friends, and she encounters this dog who nobody likes, and they make this wonderful friendship, and then they go and are going to compete in this competition, and she has this opportunity to help her family and win some money, but this dog does not perform in front of anybody except for her. And so she has a lot of trials along the way, and a lot of family relationships and building on those and encouraging and loving each other. And so it's just heartwarming, beautiful story about a girl and her dog. The next one is called The Mystery of Locked Rooms by Lindsay Curry, and I've read some of her ghost story type books. And so this was a very different one. And it's more of these kids are in like an escape room kind of thing, but it was built years ago. It actually never opened, and they go to try to conquer this escape room type place because they're really into escape rooms. It's actually a fun house, but it actually has some deadly kind of things in it. And so it's got some intensity and fun and heartwarming, lovely friendship things and discovering self and accepting you for who you are. And even regardless of your weaknesses and struggles and things that are okay emotionally, loved it. And then also Lynn Kelly just came out with another one. So this one is called Song for a Well, but her newest one coming out very soon, April 9th, it is called The Secret Language of Birds. I loved it. This is another 5-star for me. And so this girl, she goes to a summer camp and she's not really expecting to make any friends. She's kind of more hoping to work with the adults, but she's supposed to be part camper, part, staff and interact because her aunt owns the camp. But she is really into birding and she likes to go and document birds and use the app on her phone and learn all about these birds. And then she makes friends with these oddballs and she's able to develop friendships. And also they go through this wonderful story about watching these birds and discovering this bird new to this area that hasn't been there in over 100 years. And there's a little bit of a situation with a ghost, if there really is the ghost. And it is just so much fun, and just I love the friendship and the kindness and also the struggles they go through, and then learning about honesty and when they have to, own up to the decisions that they've made. So the fourth prompt was about an immigrant or a refugee story. And so this is just a beautiful graphic novel. My son is enjoying it as well. It's called When Stars Are Scattered. And it is a nonfiction about this Somali boy who is in a refugee camp in Kenya. And he has a brother who is nonverbal, and so he feels a lot of responsibility over him because he's been separated from his mom and he is just living in this camp alone. He has a neighbor who kind of helps watch over him, but it feels like it's just him and his brother. And so it's really heart-wrenching at times, but so filled with hope. And he wants to go to school to improve him and his brother's life, but then it will leave his brother alone during the day. And so it was beautiful and wonderful and a quick read. And actually, there's an audiobook, just 4 hours, and I hear it's really, really well done. So you might check that out. So the final prompt was a book you missed out on. And I had so many ideas of what to read, but I finally settled on Holes. I had seen the movie years and years ago, but all I remembered was it's about these boys in like a kind of juvenile labor camp having to dig these holes, and then they find a treasure. And yeah, so I love the boy. I love the character. I feel like he's probably portrayed different in the book than in the movie a little bit. I don't know, I can't really remember the movie, but I loved it. I loved the kind of story that goes along with the folklore in his family and weaving it in and being like, well, you might not believe this, but it just so happens kind of things that, that you might believe in these family traditions that they had, these stories that have been passed on from all these families for generations, and how it all comes around full circle. Loved it. This is another 5-star. Oh gosh, I think that's 3 or 4 or 5 stars I read this month. It was a great month for reading. And so then the group read was the Mona Lisa Vanishes. I'm not super into nonfiction. Loved that graphic novel though. And I also really enjoyed this. And it does have some images as well. And so that was really fun to have these images, and it goes through and you learn the story of why the Mona Lisa is so famous because of this heist where it was stolen. And it's written really well in a story format, and I quite enjoyed it. So I'd give it a 4. I read 2 others. One was House of Shivers. It's a Goosebumps book by R.L. Stine, and so that was really fun. I just was doing that for a NetGalley read, and that was fun to kind of remember my childhood because like in 4th grade, I read so many Goosebumps books. And also I read this one that it just surprised me so much that it was a 5-star for me. Okay, so let me just say also that I do not give out my 5 stars super liberally. Most books that I read are 4 stars because I'm like, yeah, that was a really good book. And I feel like a 4-star is a good rating. But so going into this book, I kind of was like, yeah, the cover, it's about this girl with a cello, and I'm just not a musical person. I didn't have high expectations, but I also try to not have too high expectations anyways when I go in reading a book. But I don't know, I just didn't expect it to be a 5-star, and it was, and I loved it, and it made my heart just melt, and I love these characters. It is so well written. I have another book coming up soon that I'm going to read by the same author, Matt Landis, and it's just so much fun. So this boy encounters a situation where he, through accidentally seeing his parents' mail and overhearing conversations, he finds out that they're about to lose their car that they need for, his mom getting to work and everything. And so then also his dad has been in an accident, and so he's not able to work so much, and so he is trying to do his part to help save their family vehicle. And then also the girl, who she just gets such anxiety performing in front of crowds. And so it's about him supporting her and trying to help her, and her supporting him because she's trying to audition to get into this school for music for the cello. And but she just can't handle performing in front of anybody. She gets so nervous. And I love the way it talks about, for both of them, when emotions, what they feel like, bees for one of them, and then snowman fighting in his stomach for the other one. And so I think I loved that it was just really real, talking about the anxiety that kids feel and how it makes them feel and how they overcome it. And I just love these characters so much. It was beautiful. It was fun to keep going with the story the whole way through, and fun to find them interacting with these other characters. So if you enjoyed this video and you'd like more great book recommendations for either yourself or the kids in your life, please keep coming back and give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.